To call the meeting to order, we'll stand and do the pledge in a moment of silence, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we'll do a roll call. 3rd District.
Present.
2nd District. Present. And 1st District is not here right now. Let's hope he didn't have something of a serious nature. Public comments. Well, that's disappointing, Joe. Okay, that takes, well, Linda you were going to come up at that time, or did you want to wait? Okay. I can't think who gave me the flag, but I promised this lady here that I would do that for her. It won't do it.
Black.
There we go.
Black.
Somebody have a child that they want to give that to? Do you have somebody? Okay, we'll put that over somewhere. We'll get that to somebody that can use that. They did a insurance thing here.
They did the enrollment.
Yeah, the enrollment, so.
I think it went well.
Yes, it did. And I guess that probably doing the Aflac is not very professional. It's not chairman-wise, or isn't presidential, or.
It's public record, that's who we use, so.
Oh, okay, very good. Thanks for the help out of that. Okay, the consent agenda, approval of the minutes. Do you have anything that you would like to say about
No,
this?
sir.
I do. And the one was MARC for the Eisenhower Road project. Are we collecting some data on that? Nothing yet to report on because that wasn't.
Yes, I had a meeting last week with my department heads that would be the proper ones and the county counselor, and have asked him to compile some information. Already got some information back from the clerk, waiting on the stuff from Public Works, and then
Okay.
compile it and bring it back as a report.
And the other one was the county clerk, the pros and cons for a request to go to the state legislature.
I've asked her to complete that as well.
And the reason I brought that up, I have a document here that I thought was interesting. It was the vote that was taken in 1993 on the Leavenworth City election, a process that was going on, and it was for, the vote was 17%, which I thought was rather ridiculous. 17% for a oh, here it is. God bless its heart, it's hiding here. April the 9th, 1993. Shall the city of Leavenworth, Kansas, you always have to say Kansas because there is a Leavenworth, Washington, abandon its organization of a commission form of government under Article 10 of Chapter 12 of the Kansas statutes and become a city under general law governing cities like population under a mayor and council. No was 2,740. Yes was 1,708. And there were 25,000 some odd voters. So only 4,448 votes came back in, which was 17%. And I think that somehow we need to change that, and those in society that do not have kids or grandkids, and both parents working may not understand that it's so nice to be able to come home, fill out a letter, a note that you've gotten from the county, vote, do your vote, and go on down the road. So 17%, and then there was another election that was held, and that was a presidential in 1992. It was 89.8%. And that's amazing. And that's one of the things that's nice about leaving this operation is you get to throw those papers away, because sometimes they're significant to somebody to understand what you have to do to make changes, not to the Constitution now, unless you're doing that by a, 60 or 2/3. Not to just change the Constitution, but to change things that do not have to do with the Constitution, unless you're doing it in a legal way. So I think it's very important, and I can throw that away now. 92, that's probably outlived its time. So those are the only two things I had under the minutes. Schedule. How are you with the schedule for next week?
I'll make it happen, because see, we got the KAC conference,
Okay.
and yeah, it'll be a pretty busy week.
Okay, are you going to that then?
Yes, sir.
You will be going to that?
Yes, sir.
And will you be coming to the courthouse on Friday for trick-or-treating?
Safety days and trick or treat, yes.
Okay,
Like I said, next week's full.
very good. Next item is the check register. Anything on that you want to?
No,
Okay, just to pass on to those people who,
we were under $500,000.
yeah, under $500,000, but $261,000 was paid to Line Weaver from McIntyre. Riverside Resources got their, I guess is that a semi-annual or is that an annual for $31,000?
I think that's quarterly.
Quarterly. And I always think it's interesting how we get into the quarter. If that's quarterly, that's $120,000 plus. And Northeast Mental Health would be a $1,350,000. And I don't know why people think the county needs to raise their mill levy to take care of other problems. And the reason I mention that, during the president's dissertation last night, and I'm sure everybody sitting out in the world of Leavenworth watched some of that to learn something about the process. He said that a big mental health subsidy had been given, so maybe the state ought to be applying for some of that, because I don't think the county should be carrying that. That's just a personal opinion. Some more legal fees.
You'll notice a local dealership, we purchased a vehicle.
Yes, and that we
That's
like. And I guess that's it. You mentioned we're under $500,000, and that's always good. Approval and sign OCBs, and we have none. So I'll take a motion.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second that. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Formal, no, we're going to do that last, right? The formal board action on the Council on Aging thing. Ms. Lynn, would you please come and give a nice presentation as you always do?
Good morning.
Morning.
The reason I'm here is to get the chairman's signature on a revision of the budget from reallocated funds from the state. And so we're requesting that you sign that.
Okay. Do you have any questions to extend this conversation with
No, sir.
No? Well,
Are
will
you
you
ready
do
for
a
a motion?
motion to direct, because I have
I would
feelings about
make a
this.
move to allow the chairman to sign the request for the NGAs prior to their submission to Wyandotte County
Okay.
grant.
I'll second that for discussion.
All right?
I had brought up earlier, Dave, do I have to remove myself for a conflict of interest since I'm a senior citizen?
Commissioner, you are the most senior citizen, but that does not raise any comment.
Thank you.
And this is a joint thing with Wyandotte and Leavenworth. So-
I don't know if we can use the word joint.
Okay. Consolidated, combined.
Those sound much better. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much.
If you'll wait here, I'll do some fast signatures. I'm going to let you put the date in. Can you handle that for me? Thank you very much. And if you wanted to stay for the next, the rest of the meeting, you can.
I'll just pass.
Well,
It'd be nice if it rained every meeting, wouldn't it?
no.
Yeah, it would. Just think how many people aren't here.
I like a full house.
Yep, so do I. Thank you, Linda. Appreciate it. Have a good day.
And Linda, please tell all your staff, I'll always get good reports. Everybody has a lot of nice things to say about the Council on Aging.
Good.
So appreciate what you're doing.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Next is presentations and discussion items.
Mr. Chairman, I had met with Vernon Fields City Council Baser last Wednesday, I believe it was.
Okay.
And this kind of plays into what we were talking about, the Mid-American Regional Council on applying for funds. They're really working hard on 155th Street, going through Baser.
Okay.
And you'll be glad to know that it's going to have a couple roundabouts in a design.
Oh, God. I love it. There's only one thing in a man's life that's better than a roundabout.
I'm not even going to want to know what that is.
Homemade ice cream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Homemade ice cream.
Yeah, you can't beat homemade ice cream.
But Baser has really took the lead on this and has really spent some money on some designs. They've had a lot of public meetings. This project is going to be done right.
So you say they're being aggressive.
They are being very proactive and aggressive.
So we shouldn't pursue Eisenhower or looking at.
No, sir, I did not say that.
Oh,
I just said that I'd be really surprised if Baser doesn't receive some funding.
well, I hope that
Because of the way they're approaching this.
Well, I don't want you to be surprised, but I hope that they do get something. It'd be nice. Anything else?
Attended Linwood City Council meeting last week and got it.
How are we coming on the Dennis Bigsby and the ladies?
Commissioner, I think you may be aware the court did consider a motion for a protective order which had been filed by the county. court found it did not have jurisdiction over that matter and declined to issue any ruling. I am preparing the report to be presented to local law enforcement agencies regarding what we have good faith indication to be the retention of confidential county records that should not be kept by the people we believe have them.
Okay. I want to talk about depositions. I had a deposition, and I said I wouldn't go. I preferred to go to jail. And I got talked out of that. But during the deposition, I don't even know if it's prison.
For sealed.
I don't care.
Well, Mr. Chairman, although the court has taken the matter under advisement for what we believe will be final resolution, I would suggest that since the litigation is pending, that you refrain from direct comments on the matter, particularly with respect to evidentiary issues regarding depositions.
Evidentiary. Okay, this wasn't that. It was an insult to the fair agenders by the attorney doing the deposition. And it bothered me because he made the statement about these females. Now, these females can be taken as derogatory. He could have said these ladies, but he didn't. He chose to say these females. And I took an offense to that. I said this isn't proper. And I asked him to put in the minutes, or the guy that was taking the dissertation there, that I wanted that known that I didn't appreciate him using the word females. I corrected him one more time when he discussed the lack of ability, in my impression, the lack of ability qualified. And that's about all I'll say on depositions, how rude, how stupid they are, and I could put in a lot more adjectives. So that's my thing on depositions. Where are we on the moratorium?
You're referencing the County Road 1 moratorium?
Yes.
The study, the public hearings have been completed. They had one more direct mailer where they allowed some online solicitation, but it's still on track. I think I told you that, it'd be before the middle of November for a presentation. It's still on track for that. For the County Road 1 study.
Yeah, but on what's the time?
For the moratorium, I believe we renew that in the first part of the year each year. But the County Road 1 study will be back before that renewal. And then I would anticipate that the board would make a decision on what they're going to do along the corridor permanently versus just an extension of a moratorium annually.
Well, I'd like to see that done before I'm gone.
That again, that is on task for the middle of November.
And I noticed the District 3 sort of leaned forward and looking at me. Did you?
No, I went to the thing at the VFW, and I believe I commented on that earlier. So, yeah, there's two choices.
Yep.
So then we'll be presenting them in November, Mark?
Yeah, that's the current plan right now would be before the middle of November.
Right.
Or the middle of November.
Vote on one or the other.
Mid-November.
After the election.
After the election. And we still know Christmas is on Tuesday. County plan to proceed. Where are we with that?
The master plan?
Yeah, that was going to come back. We're going to look at it.
We are, as a group of the staff members, are meeting with the two of the firms that provided proposals that we felt were the most qualified and we were the most interested in. We've met with one. We have scheduled a meeting with the second one, and then we'll bring a proposal forward to the board to consider.
Is that before the end of the year?
Oh, that will be before the end of this month.
Okay. I still would like it known that I disagree and will not be here when that time comes on the mill levy for mental health. it's funny how all of this falls back on us. And we have to show the taxpayers we're being frugal with their funds. But if the school districts and the cities say, let the county do it, so we have to increase ours, I think that's in poor taste.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I believe before next year's budget that all the stakeholders should be in this room. We should have a work session on that. We increased, what did we increase the guidance center, 25% this year? Or-
I don't know the percentage off the top of my head.
It was a pretty good increase.
They did ask for an increase and got one.
It was a good increase, I think. You know, we're heading in the right direction, but I just would like, you know, why the school districts lowered their mill levy.
Well, because they didn't want to do the mental health.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think everybody needs to be in the same room. I mean, we know it's a problem, and there's ways to help fund it, but like I said, when the school districts, not all of them, but some of them lowered their mill levy, and then yet they increased their budget.
Right.
That money could have been used to help fund some of that,
Sure could have.
you know, and softened it for us. I mean, we need to fund, like you said, we need to fund the guidance center, and we need to increase the funding every year. So
But I don't think we need to come up with another 2 mills.
that's why I think all the stakeholders need to be in this same room, and when we're all doing their budgets, this is the money, and they need to know exactly what amount of money they need.
That's true.
It needs to start, you know, sooner than later.
Not an extra 500,000, we'll just put that in an escrow account. Because they only needed 800 and some thousand dollars, they said, and the 2 mills came out to 1,300,000.
Well, I understand that, but if, you know, if they work with the guidance center, and that's who they're gonna work with,
Right?
each school district needs to have a line item in their budget for that. Just, you know, that's my opinion, but
That's a
until
good
we
opinion.
get all the stakeholders in this room to figure this out, we can't just shoot from the hip. You know?
Right. But all the
Everybody needs to be involved with this.
all the stakeholders need to know if they got a conflict of interest too. So,
Well, all these school districts in the county and the cities do their budgets every year.
yep, every
So-
year. So let's don't throw it on the county to do the whole thing.
I think everybody needs to be involved, because we all know there is a problem. Nobody's denying that.
So I had down here, Congress just passed a bill allocating, and the president signed it, giving more funds to mental health. I also mentioned quickly about the mail ballots. It's very significant. Why do I always just write down Doug's Road, 60 days, 179th Street?
What's that?
Doug's Road, that's not a insult, it happens to be in your district. 60 days, 179th Street. What is it about 179th Street? Is there anything special about 179th Street?
It's done.
It's done.
I don't know if it's been accepted yet.
Okay.
There was a walkthrough, I believe, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it has not been accepted.
Yeah, I just happen to have it written in here.
182nd is hard surfaced. It's not been accepted yet either.
I also had written down here, well, it was about Mark and Eisenhower. I'd still like to look into applying for that through Mark, evaluating them in the process also. And in that process, part of my equation was, would we not be able to do Eisenhower if they give us nothing to, or at least give us more than what it's going to cost us in our contract that we go out for. Supposedly last time when we did it, they were going to look at giving us 800,000 or something in that area.
975.
How much?
975,000.
975, good.
And the changes to
We're gonna
comply
cost
was
that.
going to cost 1.5 million.
Yeah,
So we couldn't afford to take it.
yeah, and that's intelligent. But if we delay it, then I'm pretty sure we'd almost be able to do it on a cash basis. Now, I know that some
But
people,
on our application, we've got to have cooperation with the city of Leavenworth, the city of Lansing, and us.
oh yeah, but if we still wait,
Well, I
if we
know,
don't get
but-
that cooperation, if we still wait, it'll be close to being on a cash basis, and we don't have to spend 14 million on, or 13 million, or what's gonna come out, where do we want to round it at? 14 million? And about another, how many million are gonna be for interest? And let's just say it's 1 million, well, we can do 5 miles of road for the interest. And there's nothing out there, I don't care who you're talking to, that is going to create a havoc for us to delay to do that road cash-wise. Now, there may be some rumbles out there by people who think they need that, but I don't think they need it. Because I'm looking at cash to save money so we can continue to do our 20 miles of road a year, or what we're looking at doing, and making many more people happy, because the people coming from the north, which supposedly is 6,500, and if you build I don't know how many houses there, let's say 100 houses, that's 2 cars per house, so that's 200 a day. So now we're, instead of 6,500, we're 6,700. So I don't think it's going to kill it, but we're coming up with some data on that.
Mr. Chairman, who chose the order of these roads to be done? You know, McIntyre, 147. How did they rank to be number one?
There was no
2, and 3?
choosing. There was none that I know of.
Okay, well, how did they come about that way?
I don't know. Somebody got an answer for that? It was just, well, I would say there was more screaming and yelling on McIntyre. 147th had been scheduled for a long period of time.
Well, the previous sales tax.
Yeah.
Well, now I can understand that.
Yeah.
I can understand that, but
I didn't set up that order. Because really the most important would have been between 147th and Eisenhower. One of those two. And there was really, probably the only one that had a priority would have been 147th. There is so much construction going on down there, it's unbelievable. So, and nothing with Eisenhower is going to delay or kill anything. Anybody coming out of the industrial part of it, they're basically coming out on 4-lane anyway.
yeah, see, we did very few projects. It was promised from '07 to '16. We put in a turnpike interchange for economic development to help raise property tax base.
Mm-hmm.
And improvements to arterial road between Tongi and Leavenworth, roads and bridges. The bridges were done, but that was done with KDOT money and county money,
Right?
thanks to Commissioner Graver. And improvements to County Road 8 from K7 to County Road 5, enhance the communication system, we did do that, and homeland security programs, emergency vehicles, both county cities, additional road improvement projects. So basically, we did a turnpike interchange,
Mm-hmm. And that,
and the radios.
right.
Yeah, we didn't do a whole lot.
And the turnpike was not the greatest asset.
So I guess, are we ever gonna go back and finish what we promised from '07 to '16?
Well, I don't know, he's here. You want to do a motion and we'll... That's something to look at.
Well, when you promise a voter something, you probably ought to follow through.
Well, when you can, There's a lot of promises made and promises kept, okay? That's already been said, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
Dang it, there's no originals anymore.
No originals no more.
But the three great promises are the three roads.
Yes.
And one in the past was County Road 1, which gave us nothing. Other than we can brag now that we have an entrance to the turnpike, which I think I've taken one time just to find out, so. So why have we not done that road or that connection that you just brought up?
We ran out of money.
Okay. So if we,
See, the projects there cost more than what I think was estimated, and now our projects are coming in below estimates.
right,
Maybe it's a turn of the economy, I don't know.
so what was, the improvements on that road were what? Curbs, gutters, or what?
Tallanoxie Road,
Yeah,
it just said improvements, I'm sure it'd just be shoulders.
yeah.
It wouldn't be no Super 2 or anything.
So there might be
And
some,
improvement could be anything,
yeah,
you know, overlaying it.
yeah,
Overlaying it and putting shoulders, you know. That could be, and on either one of them, they weren't gonna rebuild them. But we didn't do it.
and I know I talked about, or the commission did, way before that on County Road 5. That may have been in the 78 series when I was here. So, because that is a main road from here to there. So maybe that's something that staff ought to be looking at. But I'd still like to do things on a cash basis, then we can do more of those.
Right.
Especially when there's not a, now we don't know what's gonna happen on McIntyre Road. Somewhere something will blossom, but I know,
We know nothing's ever gonna happen on K5.
no, I wouldn't say that.
Hmm?
Yeah, things gonna happen on K5. There's a housing area out there where all these.
No, I'm talking about a KDOT road improvement on K5.
No, I agree with that.
I don't think anything's
That will
ever gonna
strictly
happen.
be a county thing.
Right.
But Eisenhower's, how can that be strictly a county thing? I don't understand that.
That's why I said we need to be working with the city of Lansing and the city of Leavenworth when we apply for any Mid-American Regional Fund.
Right, if we start that now,
That's correct. Like
Yeah.
Baser is doing,
yep.
that's why I said,
So, there was one other thing here, and I don't know what I did with it. It was, it had to do with three bozos. Does that offend me? I don't know of too many things that offend me. I could write a song on that called Undefendable, That's What You Are. But what bothers me is when people think they have done their research, and it was Mark Twain, had a wonderful quote. Get your information and facts, and then you can tear them up as you see fit. You want to be derogatory and say, well, instead of 5, it was 3, instead of 4, you can, but get your facts first so you know where you're working. And I don't know what I did with that. Mark Twain, now first, get your facts right and then distort them. Now that's a beautiful quote if you've, anybody's been watching what goes on in life at the higher levels. Get your facts, Marty Crow. We have wonderful staff people that will give you information and will be accurate. But just don't throw out figures and then you have some other person who thinks that it was a great dissertation because we're going to take the 3 salaries and we're going to add them together and we're going to divide it by 5. When you're selling something on false information, you're going to get more representation. There's no getting out of that. Instead of 15 or 16,000 per head, per bozo, I should say, it'll be 12,000 per bozo. So get your facts and then distort them. And that's why anybody that comes up to the stand should have done that. Get your facts. It's a very simple process. So, other than that, remember the north-south boundary is Dempsey. Lansing is not in the south part of the county. Other than that, I don't have any more to dissertate.
Ready for adjournment?
I'm ready for adjournment.
Move that we adjourn.
I'll second that. Any discussion?
No, sir.
Pretty early.
That's fine.
How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.